In task 2 writing, it's very important that you use your time well. It should be the first thing you do, as we've discussed in the previous video. You should be doing task 2 first, not second. But still, you have to think about your time. So the first thing you should do is read the question. Read the question nice and carefully. Then think about your ideas. This is the creative bit. Come up with some explanation and some examples. Then plan, write, and check and edit. We'll have a look at those things now in a little more detail. So just before we do that though, consider about how many minutes you should use. We are being careful about time, so 2 minutes for each of the first 3 things is about right. So roughly 6, 7, 8 minutes even is okay. Time spent pre-writing is never wasted. It's good you're considering things. It's very helpful. Then of course you've got your 30 minutes to write, and then hopefully you've got 1 or 2 minutes left over. So you notice that doesn't add up to 40, that's 38, because things are going to change slightly. But let's talk about step 1. So here is a question for you. So have a quick look at this. Why do so many people move to big cities? How does this affect the city? What you should do for a start is note the question and think about the words in the question. So with the red writing coming up there, why is the person writing these things? Have a think about that yourself. What is happening is they're basically synonyms for those words. So they're thinking about why with those 3 words above there. They've got citizens and individuals for people. They've actually mentioned the use of plurals, so they don't make mistakes with plurals. And as we've discussed in task 1 writing, it's very important we get the plurals right, because that's going to help us with subject-verb agreement and other kinds of grammar. So they've got language. They're thinking about language, not just synonyms, but language as well that they might use. We can also think about referencing and substitution. We see this a little bit here with this, it, and this movement leads to. So once you've thought about the synonyms, you should also think about the grammar you're going to use and what kinds of tenses would you use. So we see this is a present question, so they're considering present. Step 2 is the exciting bit. It's your chance to get ideas. So this is your chance to show off with kind of ideas that you might have. And first thing you should do, there will always be more than one part to a question in task 2. So draw a line down the middle and right at the top, what were the key words? Now this was a cause-effect essay, so the person's writing down why and the effects. And now they're thinking carefully about the city, not individuals, because the question said on people. So we have to be clear about the effects. Now, of course, with effects, there can be positive and negative, or good and bad, simply kinds of effects. So just write that in. That helps you come up with ideas. Now, as the ideas are coming up for why here, we see that it's very important that you have examples. Really, if you don't have any examples, as it's saying in red there, it is not a good point. You're not going to be able to write about it well. So if you don't have an example, if you can't think of an example for your idea, it's not a good idea. Don't use it.
Yes, sometimes it does mean that, but not in this situation. It's a good way to remember it for you, though. We are not talking about going to the toilet, so let's scrub out that idea. No. What we are talking about is this, the idea of point, explain, and example. So you need to do that with all your points. So here's an example here. What causes obesity or fatness? Food. Now we need to explain what we mean by food. So it's too much food. It's not just food, it's too much food. For example, eating all the time. A second point might be unhealthy food, and then we give examples and we explain it. By that we mean deep fried food or sweet food. So never forget P. Each of your ideas or your points should have examples.
So now we see the person writing up ideas for the other side, some points for good, and then some points for the negative. And we see nice examples there as well being given, especially pollution. They're not just thinking of one kind of pollution. They've written down 3 kinds of pollution. So that's a good use of examples there. Now, sometimes your ideas may not come in a logical order, like it's kind of strange there with parking and then traffic problems. Traffic problems is the first thing, and then parking would be an example. But when you come up with ideas in part 2, they might not come in a logical order. So don't stop. Just keep writing. Step 3 is when you go and analyze those ideas, and now as we move into step 3 we'll consider that exactly. So when we think about planning, that's when we think about the organization of ideas. Is this the right way round when we write about it, or would it be better that we talked about traffic problems first? Another reason we have the clock there is because when you write, you have to be careful that you don't run out of time. So if you have too many ideas for one part of the question, you might run out of time with the other part. So it's okay to cut some of your ideas. See the person here is to cut this idea of entertainment. They think that the other 2 ideas are probably going to be enough. Now, when we think about the plan, we have to think about paragraphs, and we have to consider carefully what is going to be in each paragraph, and maybe we can combine some of the ideas together. If we look at the good points for effects, they're talking about it's attractive for new companies, and then they talk about local business. So those 2 things obviously connect together. So that might be one good paragraph there. We see that this person split it into 3. They've got 3 different columns here. So it seems to make sense now that they would have 3 paragraphs. 1 paragraph for why, and then 2 for the effects. So that may be 5 paragraphs, and that's fine. Now the 4th step, of course, this is the 30-minute step. You're going to write, but you're going to write quickly, as quick as you can. Don't worry too much about grammar when you're writing quickly. Hopefully you give yourself a bit of time left to come and think about it. What happens if you think too much about grammar when you're writing? It will slow you down and your ideas won't flow as smoothly. So don't worry too much about grammar. Hopefully if you have enough time left, you can come back and check afterwards. Now step 5 is finally checking. You're only going to have a couple of minutes for this. So think about repetitive words that you may have used. Think about linking. Think about referencing as well. Have you overused words in linking and referencing? And you're going to check back with the ideas that you had at the start. So you've mentioned present and present perfect there. Are you using the present perfect? Are you using it well? You've got plurals mentioned up here. When you check your writing, they're the things you check for. So you're telling yourself in step 1 what to look for in step 5. So they're the 5 key steps in task 1 writing. We will go over them again and again in the next few videos as we focus in on specific types of questions you might get in IELTS Task 2 writing.